series looking at the Buddhist from the Eastern side all the way over here to our Western world, trying to adapt into the Buddhist way and living the Buddha's life for the next 8 months as a group and through our circle and through this YouTube channel. So let's recap last month. We looked and dove into the Four Noble Truths. You started watching Buddha's story and you watched the first 20 minutes and we came to class and we got kind of caught up on that story and we're going to continue that story. So part of your homework this month with this video series is, oops, wrong side, I always do that. It's mirrored, right? So right up here, right there now, as you watch this video, I will tag that same video, but we're moving on. It's the next 20 minutes. And so our first 15 minutes of class, this class is going to be so cool. So I'm really excited we're going to shake it up and do things a little bit different. Now that you guys have met each other and you've worked in a big group, we are going to work one-on-one this time in this class. So I'm really excited to share what that homework is going to look like. So as part of your homework assignment, watch this video to the end. And also watch the next 20 minutes. When we start our circle on April 2nd, and heads up, it's my birthday, and you can bring me the best gift by showing up on time for that night, and I'll be here, and I will feel completely served and happy on that. So we're going to continue to do the work, and we're going to be diving into view. And as I mentioned in the last video, view gets really complicated. And I mentioned that some of the other teachers kind of throw view to the end, but you can't. You got to start with view. And view is so complicated because it means right understanding and right view about this work. It's about the teaching. And so we're going to dive into some of the elements that really look at that right view and right understanding of the Buddhist teaching. So what we'll be diving into in this class is the word impermanence. So go ahead and feel free to look it up and have your own definition of it. It is what it sounds like. If it's not permanent, it would be impermanent, right? So it's forever changing and forever moving. And my God, you've heard the cliche, there's one thing you can rely on, and that's change itself, right? So we're going to be diving into the word impermanence and talking about how what the definition of that is in the Buddhist teachings. We're also going to be really diving into karma. And what I think is great about this is, what is your understanding of karma? In fact, when I get to the question aspect of our class, you're going to have to come with what you think your definition is. So more on that in a minute. And then we're going to be looking at, what does Buddha mean when he talks about suffering and clinging and attachment and the diagnosis of that, as we heard in the first class, which is the Four Noble Truths, right? So we started hearing that word show up quite often. So we're gonna look at that a little deeper in this class, and I'm going to start attaching videos to give you better explanation to that. And then the last one is karma, clinging, and then not to make this complicated, what does it mean in the not self? So actually as I told you, I took this class online, and one of my midterm in the class was to write a whole paper on the not self. So those are things that we're going to learn about Buddhist teachings, we have to be able to talk about those topics, and we'll be diving into those in this class. So are you ready to get started? Let's get started. So what I love about a recap to last class is somebody called Buddha a great doctor. And they said, if he was a really great doctor in today's world, what does a great doctor do? He gives a diagnosis, he finds out the root cause, and then he gives you a prognosis, and then he gives you the medicine. And the medicine truly is the Eightfold Path, and that is the path to stop all the top three, right? So the diagnosis and the root cause and the prognosis, okay? So the Eightfold Path, as we're diving into in right view and right understanding, starts to get into that. It's kind of like, this is the medicine, okay, that you guys will be spending the next 8 months looking at. So let's dive in. When you come to class, we will cover the next 20 minutes on the video, as mentioned, and then I will be separating you, and as you know, if you've come to my class before, you absolutely never just come in and grab a seat. In fact, you can bet dollars to donuts that this class, every single decision and every single seat will be pre-planned. So that's why telling me you're not coming or showing up late is so important. It can really screw up the energy and the game plan for the class, right? So when you get here, I will specifically, based on who's going to be here, be partnering you up with somebody to spend this whole entire class, when we break out into groups, working with. So I promise you, you will make a new friend, okay? And if you know this friend, you will certainly get to know them better. So when you come to class, here are the questions that we will be working on, and you will be working on with your new partner that you will be assigned. And so I thought I would give you them ahead of time. So be ready to answer these. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Diving into class. What is your personal definition or understanding of the word karma? Do you follow karma in your own life? Do you get up and mindfully think about karma, or do you have no concept of karma? It's kind of like, what was the question we asked last month? Oh, what is your understanding of Buddhism, right? So this one is karma. I want to get a sense of the room and who's in the room and who's living this, who doesn't understand it, who's just heard the word in this class, okay? We want to have a sense as a group of where people are with that. And maybe learn from each other. We all have, we know it's cause and effect, and you know, it is the law of you reap what you sow, okay? So let's talk more about that as a group. So that's the first question. What is karma? What is it to you? Be ready to use in your own words and share with your partner that I have assigned to you. The second question you will be answering in class this month as a group is there someone in this life that you feel tied to in a negative way? And that's that whole suffering question that we're going to start getting into. And you know, is there someone that you need to forgive? Is there somebody that, you know, of course, ex-husband always kind of shows up in a lot of the work that I do with people. And I'll tell you a true story. When I did a reading after my daughter's passing, and I was with this person who was bringing spirits through and stuff. And of course, the question was, you know, do I have another life with my ex-husband? Which at the time, the question just terrified me, okay? And she said, that life has not yet been determined. And I had to kind of stop. What does that mean? And she explained it deeper. And basically the way it was explained to me is that at the time I asked the question, the answer was that I probably didn't want to know what the next life was going to be with him, because there was so much energy attached to that was not of the best space or best energy. And just me hearing that and looking at karma and understanding that in a different way than I do today, I really have worked hard to, you know, thank this man for giving me the most beautiful creature in my life, which was my daughter. Thank him for loving me at the time that he did, but also teaching me what love was and what love wasn't for myself, and for being that aspect of my life and really helping me understand my own self-worth. So those are some of the gifts that my ex-husband gave me. And you know, I don't take that lightly, but more importantly, what that has done for me is it's really freed up that chain, okay? And 2 years later, went back to the same lady, and she said that had since changed. So I'm working on that, and there are people in this life. So back to you, and how that's just an example of what I'm asking you to look at. Find or think of or be mindful of someone in this life that you feel tied to in a negative way. And we're going to be looking at class you're going to share that with your partner. Okay, and it's not going to be, you know, 2 hours. We're talking a half an hour of work. You're going to have 15 minutes apiece to share all these questions with, okay? So when you ask that person that question, that person is sharing, the person who is listening is only going to listen. That is their job. Just to be mindful, not to solve this for you, not to tell you you're wrong about that, or show compassion towards you. At the end of your conversation, that person's going to offer you a blessing, okay? A blessing meaning some type of resolution, or why don't you try this, or have you thought about it looking at it this way? And we're going to start to hopefully break those ties, those chains for your suffering. Let's keep going. Okay, so the third question that you'll be answering in group this month is, what are 3 repeated themes of dukkha, now that you know what that word is, that show up in your life that you would like to work on with your partner for the next 30 days? Okay, so that means you'll have to change and exchange cell phone numbers. So you'll be able to get a hold of each other. And you guys, you agree what that is. You know, I can't text every day. Mornings are better for me. But what you're going to be doing is you're each going to be picking one topic that you want to work on. I'm going to explain that in a minute. And then you'll be sending each other affirmations, or you'll be sending thoughts or encouragement, or saying, what are you going to do for that today? Or you're going to challenge each other. And it's really just about the accountability that, you know, I love in class. So it'll sound like this. I'll read the whole question. What are 3 repeated themes of dukkha in your life? Pick one that brings you the most pain and commit to working on that with your partner for the next 30 days. And again, you will decide. I gave an example of my 3 dukkhas, which would be loss, abandonment, and balance. Okay. And out of those, I think I'll sign up for balance, okay? And balance, what I mean by that for my own self is, you know, turning off my cell phone when I go on my bike ride. It could be doing yoga for an hour and 15 minutes and meditating for 15 instead of doing 2 hours of yoga. I mean, those are the decisions I need to make around balance. I know my life is so rough, right? So then again, you will be sharing intentions. Okay. And then the last question that you will be working with your partner and sharing in class, and we'll talk about that again, is this great analogy of, have you heard the song from Michael Jackson? I'm standing with a man in the mirror, you know, that awesome song. And if you don't, I'll put it on our Facebook so you can hear the words and get into the energy of the question. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with us, right? So the whole song is about how Michael was starting. He knew that the world needed to change. If you don't remember the song, here it is. He knows that the world needs to change, but he's looking at himself and he's saying, all right, it starts with me. So if you were going to problem solve what the world needs, and you were going to start that, and it started with you in the mirror, what would that be? Communication, forgiveness, more love, okay? So you answer that with your partner, and then part of your next 30 days is going to be doing that and being that for yourself. And you're just going to journal and keep track of that for yourself. And it's, you know, back to what you know, I know, right? Somebody was talking about not being able to really commit to this class because of the time and being worried about getting it all done. Hey, you can do this on your own. You can half do this. It's your journey. I'm not tied to your outcome, but you will get what you put in, right? So this is just one more way as a group we're going to be changing the world. Okay, awesome, right? All right, so that's it. This is what we're going to be talking about next class when we look at right understanding, right view, and so excited. So right view and right understanding, and then right thought, that's the next one, have to do with the wisdom. And then we move into the morality, which is the following 3. And then the last one is the meditation. So they're really broken up into 3 different segments, I guess we'll call them. So we're in wisdom right now, which is about the knowledge and the knowing and understanding, right? So I'm so excited. That's it. We're moving into April 2nd, our next meeting. And as always, be here at 7 o'clock sharp so we can intercircle together. And it's going to be an amazing journey as we dive into the actual path. We're ready to go. Don't forget to watch the next 20 minutes of the movie, because yeah, there will be a small test on that. And I am so happy that you're committing this time for yourself and that you're walking the life of a Buddhist. And I'm so happy to be able to share this and experience this with you. So this is Jeannie Lynch signing off.